All right, let's do it. Ebony Lane, the Olympian. How does that feel, Ebony?
It still feels very surreal. I feel like I won't actually like fully feel it until I get there. But yeah, every step of like finding out so I found out last Thursday and then I wasn't allowed to announce it till Monday. So that was like finding out on the Thursday was good. And then announcing it on the Monday felt even better. But then I feel like once I actually like get to the camp and get amongst like the whole Olympic team, and there's going to be like the documentary on Channel 9 come out and all those sort of things. So I feel like every single step it feels more real, but it still doesn't feel very real yet.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And then that keeping from Thursday to Monday, that would have been the biggest secret maybe of your life, and
Oh,
keeping that.
100%.
How did you go, how did you go keeping that a secret?
Well, luckily this time around, I was able to tell my family and like close friends and stuff. So that was the first thing I did was call mum and dad and tell them. I feel like if I had to keep it from them, it would have been a lot more difficult. But then once I was able to announce it on Monday, that's when I was like, oh my gosh, like getting the response back and like everything like that was just like, all right, now like people like have really followed my journey along and are excited for me. And that's when it almost felt like way more real than finding like getting the phone call on the Thursday. So yeah, it felt like Monday was more the finding out, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, yep, understand.
Yeah.
And that was going to be one of my questions is I would love to know when you did call your mum and dad, who were huge fans, what was that call? What was that call like?
Yeah, they were super excited. I feel like this season we've known all along that I was going to make it. It just was whether it was going to be just the 100 meter, well, the 100 and the relay, or just the relay. Unfortunately, I missed out by 3 spots for the 100, so I was super close. But either way, like we sort of had a feeling that I was going to make it this season, like this year, but it wasn't until we actually got the confirmation and it was all like set and ready to go that we're all excited, and it was awesome.
Yeah. What did your mum say when you first told her?
Well, my mum was more concerned whether I was getting selected for the 100 or not. Because at that moment in time, so they select 56, and at that time I was sitting at 65. And what they do is they wait until all of the countries have put in their selections. So it's called like a roll down system. So let's just say like some countries decide not to select the people in the 56. Some people might be injured. Some people might not have done well at their like national, which is their Olympic trials. So a lot of people do drop out, which is why I then ended up missing out by 3 spots. So yeah, mum was more concerned whether the roll down was going to go in my favor or not. But then even I spoke to her on Monday after I announced it, and she was like, oh, like now, like it actually feels real that you're going, and like I'm a lot more excited and stuff. So that first initial phone call was kind of like, oh, are you going for the 100? But then once it got to Monday and like I said that I was just going for the relay, like it was, probably more exciting on Monday.
Yep, yep. And let's talk about your journey, right? So
Yeah.
some people out there know about your journey, but there'll be ones that don't. So you were the girl who started at 4 years old, little athletics, and it wasn't until 16 that you made your first state final. Yeah, let's talk about that. You started in Echuca and then Collingwood Little Athletics. But yeah, let's talk about your journey.
Yeah, so my first Little Ass Club was actually Collingwood. I was only there for 1 year, but mum and dad put us into Little Athletics because they did beach sprinting growing up and we weren't living near a beach at the time or living in the city. And then the next year we moved to Echuca, which is a small country town, and there's lots of sports that you can choose from, and we pretty much did all of the sports, but Little Athletics, like the club there was really good. Pretty much everyone from the town did Little Athletics as well as other sports as well. And that's sort of where we made our mark in athletics, because it was such a small country town that we sort of realized that, we were like pretty fast for being like living in the country, and once we got to like regionals and everything like that, we were always winning. And then it wasn't until we got to states that we were like, okay, there's a lot more faster people and like people that are better at other events than us. But that sort of, even making like states when you are living in the country is such a massive thing. Like they do make it out as if like that is the nationals kind of thing, because it's just very unheard of for like people in the country to even make states. But yeah, then once I moved to Mornington Little Athletics, that's when it really opened my eyes to like, okay, like this is actually hard. I'm not as fast as what I thought I was. I wasn't making state finals, and like girls that I had even run against like regionals. I think there was even some years I didn't make states at all because it was just such a hard like region to be a part of. And yeah, it wasn't until 16 years old when I moved into like the senior athletics that I made like my actual first state final. And then, yes, I think it was like when I was 19 years old, it was my first state medal when I came third.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a story of persistence, eh?
Yeah. Yeah. So 19 years old was first state medal and making my first nationals as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a part of your story that I'm not sure how many people know, but the lockdowns that occurred a few years ago, for many people, they kind of lost their way in that time. But for you, it was quite the opposite. You actually went to another level and really found yourself in those lockdowns. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. That is probably the most pinnacle point of me in my athletics. I feel like I had two pinnacle points. The first was when I tore my ACL playing football, and then the second one was going into lockdown and having to be shut away from my coach, my training squad, which I feel like I really relied on to actually rock up and train. And you had a time to be there, and certain days each week that you had to be there, and your coach would tell you what to do, and you really relied on them to just get you through week by week. But once that was all sort of taken away, that's when I was like, okay, like I actually really need to go 100% into this, or I need to give it up. And at that moment in time, I was getting myself in the wrong crowd of people. I was going out drinking a lot, partying, doing a lot of naughty things. So once I sort of like all that got taken away from me, I was like isolated. It made me really be like, okay, like it's either like all in 100% or just give it up and do something different with your life. And once I decided to go 100% all in, it was all in. So I changed my nutrition. I was tracking my calories for the first time ever, making sure I was eating enough, and even figuring out what protein was, because back then I didn't even really know like the meanings of each macronutrient. My sleep, I got my sleep better. I was starting to journal and do some manifesting, goal setting, started to listen to podcasts, go out for walks just for mental health, set up a gym at home, and just really, dialed in on my strength training and getting a bit more of an idea about that, which is then why I then decided to step into being that in a career. And all of the track sessions as well. I had to invest in my own set of blocks, a sled, cones, measuring tape. I would have to go down to the local dog park and football oval just to get my sessions done, because I wasn't within 5 kilometers of an athletics track. So even having to buy like spikes that were long enough for the grass sessions as well. And just, creating myself like a training plan each week where I was able to go down to the park, set it all up. And I think most sessions would take about 2.5 hours, because I would have to, be at the ovals, setting everything up, creating my own sort of lanes to be able to run in and measure it, make sure it was all the right distances, time all of my reps, send them all to my coach, even setting up video footage, all those sort of things. So things that like you really take for granted when you do have those things like accessible, you really realize that like it is a lot of work, and if you want to make it work, then you just got to make those sacrifices.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you mentioned about you really dialed into your strength training and your nutrition in that time. I like to ask people this question, because sometimes in many sports, like there's the athlete, and the athlete focuses on the sport, obviously. But for you in your sport, how important has quality nutrition, a quality strength program been in adding to your game as the sprinter?
Mm. So I started strength training back when I was 15, 16 years old. I invested in a strength coach, and I think that that really helped build the fundamentals of being an athlete. And at the time I was doing netball, football, and athletics. So it just created a really good base for me to sort of work off, and even just find out what the gym was like. Having someone there to help me actually lift properly, do the right technique, talking me through what each muscle group I was sort of working, and it made it really great for me to be able to sort of work off that. And then I then moved into just doing some strength programs that my track coach was giving me. And yeah, in that lockdown period, it really helped for me to actually know how to do the movements and lifts properly, because I'd already invested in a coach back when I was like 15, 16 years old. So that really helped because I had a really good understanding of proper technique, what I needed to invest in terms of like equipment and everything for the home gym. And then when it came to nutrition, the lockdown period was where I sort of just took the reins and did a lot of research myself and trial and error. And I think even this year, my nutrition game has gone another level as well. I feel like I learn a lot more every single year that I sort of concentrate on it and learn what my body needs and listens to it, and getting information off Vince, who was my coach at Dare, and he has taught me a lot about nutrition this year and more about like what's going to help me with my energy levels and recovery and all those sort of things that you don't really think about. You just think about fueling your body and getting you through the day, whereas there is a lot of other fundamentals when it does come to nutrition, especially when you are an athlete. So yeah, that's been a massive one for me this year, is just improving my nutrition, even though I would say that like it was pretty good before, but now I've taken it to that new level. And I can say that every single day that I'm sort of working towards my nutrition and looking out for what's working for my body at the time is what allows me to then be able to compete at my highest level as well.
Awesome. And what would you say to little Ebony that was, I don't know, 6, 8 years old, who had a dream of having this moment? What would you say to her now that you're here, you did it, you're about to do it?
Yeah.
Say to that little girl.
The 3 words that keep on coming to me since finding out that I'm going to the Olympics is just like, we did it. It's not I did it, it's a we, and that comes with like little Ebony to Ebony now, like being 2 different people, and also like we as in my team as well, my family, support crew, all of my coaches that I've had ever, past and present, physios, all those different things. Like it's a we did it, not an I did it. So that's the 3 words that have come to me since finding out that I've made the Olympics is, yeah, we did it.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Ebony. So tell us, how do we watch? When are the dates? When will the relay first heat be? Times and things like that.
So I don't know off the top of my head. I know that we're the last 2 days of the program for track and field, which I think is like the 8th and the 9th of August.
Okay.
I'll send you through the actual days and times, but Channel 9 is doing the Olympics this year. We do have a documentary that's coming out for the relay as well. So they've sort of been behind the scenes of our whole season this year. I've already seen a little sneak peek of an ad of me on Channel 9 that's been running ads at the moment. So yeah, they're doing a full documentary that's going to be on Channel 9 and 9 Now on the 21st of July. And that will sort of show all the behind the scenes of what we've been working towards as a relay team this year. It also does lots of interviews of us individually too. So it does go back through my whole journey, and I think I'm hoping that they've cut out me crying in the interview. Because yeah, it was a very emotional interview and they asked lots of hard questions. But yeah, that really shows the raw footage of behind the scenes of what we've sort of been working towards this year as a team. And that will be a really good watch. And then obviously us at the Olympics as well. So yeah, the last 2 days of the track and field program is when the relay is on. So we've got the heat and then hopefully the final. And at the moment, it's looking promising that I will be starting off the relay. So we've got London Diamond League next Saturday, which will sort of give us a little bit of a test run and warm up into the Olympics. And that will be the team that will move into the proper team for the Olympics. So yeah, at the moment, we don't know who the 4 is. I'm hoping that they'll just keep it the same as what it has been the whole season. But yeah, you never know with selections and what the coaches are thinking, but hopefully I've kept my position of being first and starting off the relay.
Yep. And when do you move into like the Olympic and the Australian team? Is it next week? Did you say? Is that right?
Yeah, so we've got London Diamond League next Saturday. So I head back to London on Monday to start the relay camp. So we've got a week relay camp for the London Diamond League. Then straight from the London Diamond League, the next day we fly to Montpellier in France, which is where our staging camp for the Olympics is. So that's where everyone who's in the Olympic team for track and field will be. And we train and pretty much just get ready. They then fly the team out in 2 waves into the Olympic Village. So if you're in the first part of the program, you fly out in the first wave. And then if you're in the second part of the program, you fly out a couple of days later. So there's a little bit of like a crossover of like, once you finish your event at the Olympics, they fly you straight out. So it sort of just allows for like not too many people to be in the village. So there will be some people that I won't even see it at all because they would have competed at the start of the program and then already flown out. And then I'll be the second half of the program. So in the second wave, we then step in and take their spots in like the village and everything like that.
Awesome. And are you looking forward to the opening ceremony?
Yes, I'm looking forward to all the different things. I've had a look at like they've given us lots of information of what we can expect at the village and what the different things are that we can do there. So yeah, I'm really excited to see like what it's like. And I went to Paris to do some sightseeing about a month ago when I did come to Europe initially. So that it was pretty interesting seeing like they've all the setups of the different sports, and they had started to set up some stadiums and close roads off and everything like that. But I think once I'm actually in the village, it's going to look completely different. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, on behalf of Dare and the whole of Bentley, and the whole Dare team and clients, I know that we're all behind you and that we'll be watching. And that we're super pumped and proud of you. And yeah, let's go. It's your time.
Yeah,
go.
definitely. Yeah.
It's exciting. Is there anything else that you want to say, Ebony?
No, I don't think so. As I said before, like the 3 words that have come to me since finding out that I've made the Olympics and that I'm going to be an Olympian is that we did it. And yeah, all of that comes from all of the support that I've had from everyone on my journey, and a massive one is Dare and all of the community at Dare. And it's really exciting that they've been behind me through the whole season, from when I first started my season in January, running a PB, to breaking Australian records with the relay team and flying into different countries and watching the live streams and everything. So yeah, it wouldn't be possible, and like this journey wouldn't have been as exciting if I didn't have the support and the people behind me. So thank you to everyone, if you're watching, for supporting me and yeah, just watching my journey and being a part of it.